Stauffer, business coach to interior designers and certified body language trainer. If you don't know me and you're here, I'd be surprised, but I'm often known for giving you the confidence to charge your worth, helping you with your marketing and your sales, and driving you to be accountable and manage your time well. And I'm here today with one of my favorite things now in the whole world, an online business manager, and her name is Angie Webb. Welcome, Angie.
Thanks, Nancy. I'm happy to be here.
Really excited for this show, even in this crazy world right now. How are you guys holding up there in Canada?
We're doing pretty well. Thankfully, the sun is out, the snow is melted, so we can get out and bike and stuff during the day with the kids. But it's definitely different times for sure.
I know it is different times. Well, let's cheers, even though I know you're drinking sparkling water because we're going to go out to the store today. So cheers. Cheers. I keep saying how I want to cancel weekend wind down, but then, now it's kind of like we're stuck home anyway, so we might as well chat and talk and connect with people.
Exactly.
So I'm excited. Yeah, we have to do this. So say hi to us if you're here, so I know who's here. Tell me where you're watching from. I don't know why it's not showing. Normally it shows me right here how many people are watching, but it isn't. But that's okay. Whoever's watching, please say hi to us. So let's just talk a second about what's going on in the world, because I have been doing many Facebook Lives in my group, the Interior Design Business Forum, and for my son's here. Hi, Kate. And for IDS, the Interior Design Society. Hi, Susan. Oh, hi, Nicole, too. They're together. They're sisters. They're twin sisters. Hi, Deborah from Illinois.
Oh, from Toronto, another Canadian.
So, hi, Lori. Hi, Robin. Hi, Sharon. Okay, so apparently where I live, the little town I live in on Long Island, is one of the hubs, and the hospitals are already overwhelmed here on Long Island in this area, which is crazy. And one of the things I shared with Angie before everyone came on is I only watch the news usually once a day, and then I watch John Campbell. He's a scientist and a doctor on YouTube to get the real facts about what's going on. But one of the things I do, which is something I totally should not do, is take a picture of the numbers every day, so I can just see the trajectory of this thing, and it's just not looking pretty here in the United States. It's really kind of scary. But the good news is our medical system does seem to be better than Italy. So I'm sorry for the people in Italy, but they are having a much more difficult time than we are, at least for now. So hopefully we can keep up. So how is it in Toronto? You're in Toronto?
No, I'm in Ottawa.
Ottawa. How is Ottawa?
We're pretty good. We are not too bad. I think there's 32 cases right now in Ottawa, so there's not too many. We had their first death last week, a 90-year-old man. So, I mean, sad but not tragic in terms of, it wasn't, a child, thank God. But so we're just still all cooped up and staying in just to try to flatten this and
flatten the curve.
Yep.
Flatten the curve. It's a difficult situation, that's for sure. And I'm glad that I'm doing weekend wind down. So hopefully everyone's having a drink with me. Unfortunately, Angie couldn't get out to the store to get her alcohol, which is probably better because you have 4 kids at home.
It's true, but it's been 2 weeks at home with them too, so I kind of need it.
Yeah, you should see what I posted on my personal Facebook page today. It was quite funny. And I'm trying to be humorous at times because otherwise everything just gets too heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm excited about this topic, and I'm going to give everyone a little bit of background first about, that I used to be an art consultant. I managed 2 people in my house. If you've been watching me long enough, you know that. And once I became a coach, I managed everything myself, and I had 1 staff member who came with me from my old business, Expressive Living. But as I've grown and I have somebody handling my social media, somebody managing my Facebook group for me, because people always try to spam in there, and sell things that they're not supposed to sell to the interior designers who I'm trying to keep safe and let them support each other and let me support them. And the postings and the LinkedIn effort we make and the Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, plus the programs I roll out, one-on-one coaching, group coaching. I have a course, I have a membership site. So like all these efforts started getting so many moving parts all the time. And they were all stuck in my head, or when my son worked for me, they were stuck in his head and my head, and we would like dump into each other's brains all the time. And I did use systems like Trello to kind of do brain dumps and to keep information, and programs like LastPass to keep my passwords and things like that. But it got to the point where I could not keep up with everything that was going on in my own business. So I think I have about 7 employees at this point, or subcontractors, because everyone's virtual here. And I was managing all of them myself. So one day, the term OBM came to my attention. And I will tell you, I never knew what it was before.
Yeah.
And it took me a while writing it down. Like, what is an OBM? What is an OBM? So online business manager is what an OBM is for everyone who's watching. And I'm going to relate this back to my banking days because I'm old school. Sorry, I'm old. I'm pretty old, right? So when I worked in banking, I was a first vice president and I had 3 managers under me who each had 2 supervisors under them and then had 50 staff members in each of the 3 departments. So I only spoke to the managers. Basically, I mean, obviously I spoke to my staff as I walked through and I knew people, I knew everybody. But when it came to delegating tasks, I only spoke to my managers. And I kept trying to figure out, like, how do you do this in an online world with so many moving parts? And that's where the OBM came in. Oh, we have somebody from India here. Hello. Hey, Nitin or Nitin, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Welcome. So it was like a light bulb going off. Like this is what I need. I need someone to be able to say, I have the greatest idea ever to offer a membership site for $1, like I'm doing currently for a month. And then who do I give it to kind of implement with my entire staff? So I now have not 1, but 2 OBMs to handle different sides of my business because we are pumping out so much information and so many initiatives at the same time. It was hard for even one person to do it with the type of hours that they work. So, but what's great is that you are specifically an OBM for interior designers.
Yeah.
So you have to explain to people how this works. Like, how does a physical location, an interior designer who has staff possibly, or no staff yet, but they need someone to help them, where do you come in? Tell them a little bit about how it works with designers.
So if you have a physical location, if you're not online yet at this point, then an OBM is still completely helpful for you because if you have staff already, thankfully through applications like Zoom and Skype and all that, we can still keep in touch. We can still act as though we're there. And I think everybody's going through this right now. So we can kind of see exactly how virtual we can get when we need to be and when we want to be. So the management of the staff, we can still do meetings. The delegations can still go on. What I would normally do would be set up a project management tool if there wasn't already one in place, such as Trello or Asana, something like that. Teamwork even, that's another good one. To input all of the tasks, then you can assign each team member to each task with a due date, a level of priority, and then it's up to me to manage to make sure that everything's getting done by the right people at the right time. And in the right way. So that can be done, even with a brick and mortar. And I think right now, especially, a lot of people are trying to figure out how to move some of the parts of their businesses to online and how to adapt to this new reality that we have going on.
Yes. And I mean, I want everyone to imagine this because I've seen this work. I've seen this in action. You onboard a new client and you basically tell your online business manager, we've onboarded a new client. Here's all the paperwork. Now get everyone to do what they're supposed to do, including me, the boss, right? Because I find that it's almost like the OBMs are often my boss. Because they'll be like, okay, Nancy, you're holding up the process. You have to review this blog or you have to write. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like they keep me on target. So when we set up an SOP, I know we're using a lot of acronyms here, but this is the online world now, which everyone is getting used to being part of. So I want you to learn these terms. OBM is Online Business Manager, and an SOP is a Standard Operating Procedure. It's basically your procedures.
Yeah.
It's again, old school. It's a manager and it's a procedure. So what's great about the OBMs is they set up all your SOPs. They send up all your standard operating procedures. They talk to you and they figure out how things work in your organization. And then tell them how you set those up and what kinds of systems.
So if it depends on what kind they have. So I like to use Google Drive personally, because in that way it's easy to edit. They're easy to store. You can have subfolders for different ones. So if you've got, team ones, if you've got design ones, if you've got billing ones, you can separate them a bit to make it, organized and easy enough. You can also link, if within one SOP, you're referring to another one, you can link to it directly within the document. Plus it's easily shareable and, other people can access them, and it's a super simple way to go about doing it.
So give an example of an SOP, which is something everyone should have in place. If you are ever out sick, someone else needs to know how to do something. If a staff is ever out sick, someone else, you may need to know what they do and how they do it. It's basically your procedure manual, but It's all online. So, or it's on the cloud on whatever system you choose. We are currently using Asana, and I can't believe how I was really resistant to it, I have to tell you. And I still get pissed off at it once in a while.
Yeah.
It is what I'm like, if it can be done quickly, just do it. Don't put it in Asana as a task. Just do it. It's like around the house. If it takes less than 5 minutes, just do it and don't put it in. But it's been pointed out to me that if it's something unusual, and it may need to be repeated again in the future, and no one's going to remember how it was done. So if we actually put it in Asana and document how it was done, it's in there and it can be searched and it can be found.
Yep.
So I'm starting to actually like Asana. And as a business owner now, welcome Heather. As a business owner now, all I have to do is look in Asana daily, and I watch my 7 staff members talking back and forth and doing their thing, and they're completing this and completing that, and I know the status of all that we're doing by just checking Asana once or twice a day. And that's the goal. So you help interior designers. Give us an idea of one of the SOPs you've created for an interior designer.
So one of them would be your client onboarding process, which is, hugely important, because this is where you're starting to build relationships, to build trust with them, and to build their confidence in you. So you want to make sure that you're, on top of things, that you're organized, that you're not waiting long periods of time between emails, and that you're getting back to them fairly quickly, right? Especially in this day and age. Nobody has patience, and everybody wants to be, responded to right away. So that's a hugely important one, I find, is to really streamline that process. To take stuff off of your plate, automate it if you can, and there's a lot that you can. And just to, every time you're making something repetitive and consistent, you're not wasting time thinking about it all the time, right? You're not reinventing the wheel each time. So you're saving yourself, you're saving your own time in your business by knowing where you're going, what you're doing with this particular process, right? So that's a big one. That's a big one, I find, because it's your diving board, right? It's your starting off point with your client. So
yes. So one of the things I tell everyone, and we've talked about this, is your onboarding procedure. It should be fairly the same for everyone who calls your firm or sends you an email. So what happens when they send you an email? What do you do? So Heather, you said you don't have a staff, so you don't use it. But Asana can be used for you to keep your head straight instead of keeping it all in your head also, right? So somebody calls, what happens? What do you say? Where do you direct them? What do you send them? If you send them a questionnaire, you hop on the phone with them. What happens after that? Then you send them a bill. What's the sign on for that? Imagine then and then you could put a little Loom video with it to show what you do. Now you have an onboarding procedure that when you hire a staff member, it's right there. Or if you don't remember where you put things, it's right there.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many hours I've wasted in the past looking for URLs, passwords, where I stored documents. And now, with it all being in Asana, it's getting better for me. It's not perfect, but it's getting better.
Yeah. And even just to point out to Heather, even if you don't have staff now is the time to set up that section of your business, because once you have staff, you're just kind of behind the 8 ball at that point. You want to have this all set up. If it's in your intention to hire on staff, which you likely should at some point, to at least offboard things from your own plate. You're already going through and you're taking care of your processes now. So it's a great tool for training them. It also allows you to see how well you're documenting your processes, because if you've got a brand new person coming on and trying to do this, it's basically an instruction manual, step by step is how it should be outlined. Then they'll be able to pick it up hopefully and run with it strictly from your SLP. And if they can't, then okay, here's some gaps. It might be second nature to you, so you forget to put it in there. So it's a great way too to have a fresh set of eyes going over your SOPs at the same time to say, okay, are there any gaps that we need to fill in?
Right. And when you create a standard operating procedure, you literally want to dummy proof it.
Yeah.
And that means like if you knew nothing. So the answer to Hope's question, does it link to other apps, is yes, right? You can put the URL, if that's what you mean, Hope, in my standard operating procedure, step 5. It could say, go to my Domer, here's the link.
Yeah.
Right? You click on it and then you enter the client information here. But then what happens then? In my Domer, now you have your project or Studio Designer or Ivy or whatever you use, if you use anything. But then what happens inside of my Domer then? Okay. Who's supposed to do what and when? When is somebody supposed to bill them? When is someone supposed to be starting to work on the vision, on the boards, right? When is the meeting scheduled for? When is the week before the meeting to be able to make sure it's done, right? And then once you get the check for, when are they supposed to be billed for their furnishings? Once they're billed, who's doing the ordering, right? So it is something like Asana actually creates the whole step-by-step that each line can be assigned to a different person. Or if it's all you, that's okay. It's all assigned to you. And when you wake up in the morning and you look at your Asana to-do list, it's showing you what has to get done today. Right. And to mention something Wendy had said, her assistant's always telling her to put it in Asana. You know what? My assistants are telling me to put things in Asana too. And I always go, can you do it for me? I'm a talker like you, Wendy. I just want to say what I want done and I want someone else to put it in Asana. Well, because otherwise I've screwed up. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, but that's what you have an online business manager for eventually.
That's right.
Okay. So what else can an online business manager do for a business owner?
So we can help set up your system. So if you've got, if you have or if you have not, your system, say Asana, for example, your G Drive, your Google Drive, or any of those types of things. If you need something separate, if you're looking for or in need of a separate, time billing tool, any of those types of things, we can get up and running for you and, basically streamline your business. So we can take a look and say, what are you using right now? See if they're, do you like them? Is there something you don't like about them? See if there's something that could potentially be a better fit. I wouldn't want to, change something that was was working fine. It's a lot to switch programs depending on what program it is, but it just sort of it brings in somebody who specializes in this to be able to make it more efficient for you and make sure that you're using your time wisely and the way you're supposed to, right? Not have to worry about this because it's daunting, it's overwhelming. So especially if you're not already in the online space and your brain doesn't operate that way, it's really overwhelming. And a lot of us just want to kind of turn the other way and not want to deal with it. And but you don't realize how much time it can actually really save you.
Yeah, it's almost like you guys are a combination of super organizers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
you can organize everything in our online world. You can organize where all the passwords are kept, where all the documents are kept, and where we can actually find them when we need them.
Yep.
Right? Our tracking of whatever we're tracking, which are tasks plus time, calendar management,
Mm-hmm.
setting up a calendar, setting up an Asana or a Trello. I find every time I have a brainstorm, my OBMs are like, okay, their brains just work different from mine. I'm more create the program, create what I want to do for, I want to do a new training on whatever. I want to make a new offer. And they're like, okay, hold on. To make a new offer, you need to go through the following steps and we need 3 weeks. And I'm like, that's too long. I don't want to wait 3 weeks.
Now.
Right. Everything has to be done yesterday.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They're used to the way my brain works. So they get used to the way my brain works. Angie, we have a question for you from Danielle. Do you have a system? Do you work with any systems particularly, or do you have a recommended suite of applications?
So thank you for that question. I've got a few of them. So it depends on what you need them for. So a project management tool would be one. A CRM, if you don't already have one, would be another. So that's the client relationship management tool. I personally use, I love Dubsado. I use that on my business. So that helps with like my leads, as well as my proposals, my invoices, my contracts. It keeps them all together in one space. And I can email them out through there. So it's super easy. And this kind of goes back to, I guess, what I was talking about with the onboarding process is tools like this really make it efficient and simple. You're not going in and you're not reinventing the wheel every time, because it takes a long time to create your proposals and to tweak your contracts and stuff like that. So if you've got the templates already there, you've got 3/4 of the work done, you're plugging in what you need to. And I've actually got a VA for myself. She took care of the whole setup for me for the Dubsado. I know what to do. I normally outsource for the implementation in those sections. But I can sit there and say, this is what is needed. So she's helped me with getting that up and running, and it's been phenomenal. I can't recommend Dubsado enough. And I know that
Really? I've never used it.
Oh, really? Okay. I think there's a few in the group I've seen that they do use it. So I always get a little excited when I see that, because it's a huge time saver.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of people who use Dubsado. I've never looked at it. I literally have so many systems.
Mm-hmm.
And we are current, and that's the other thing I love about having an OBM, right? I'm like, you know what? Aweber is not doing the trick for us anymore when it comes to emails. So we're switching.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember the one we're switching to. But funny, what am I switching to? What are the names of the big one?
Which one did you have now? Aweber?
Yeah.
ActiveCampaign?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
Claire Jeffer just went to ActiveCampaign also. I saw her saying, Hope is saying Dipsado, and Danielle said Dubsado.
Yeah.
Danielle, Dubsado. Yeah. So yes, we're switching our whole email system to ActiveCampaign, which I would have never done if I didn't have an OBM.
No.
Because I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to transfer the systems. It's a very daunting process. And we have so many email series and so many different email lists for different things that people have opted into.
Yep.
I just literally panic, and I would stick to exactly what I have and never make any progress.
Yeah.
And that's what I find OBMs are really good at. Like if you saw something a designer was doing
Mhm.
that was just so old school, and you knew a system that could make it easier for them, which saved them time and money
Mhm.
and let them stay in their genius zone,
Yeah.
that's what you would point out to them
Oh,
and help them, right? You help them get up on the system and get it working properly. You don't just abandon them.
No. No. And that's where we are, because that's where we come into play. That's our sort of specialty, or one of them, is looking and kind of taking inventory of where you're at in your business. We're looking to move it forward. I like to say my client is actually the business, not the designer, because my goal is to carry out the vision of the business owner, but continuously move the business forward. So in terms of, revenue, in terms of optimization for, systems and processes, making sure that it's streamlined, that we don't have any, bottlenecks going on in the business, stuff like that. So it's a higher level, because it's really hard to look at all that stuff when you're in it and in the weeds of it.
Yes.
But you don't know how to get out, right? You just don't know how to get out of there. So that's where we come in, is we're looking at it from a higher position and saying, okay, this is what's going on. This is where the issues lie. This is what our options are. And, we're going to take you from here, so, and then if a client wants to go somewhere, say, this isn't working, then we'll walk them through it and say, okay, what's not working for you? What don't you like? What are you thinking of in your mind, to see if there's something better out there or not, potentially. Sometimes we just have to deal with what it is that we have, unfortunately, and, do the best we can. But if there's a better way, then for sure, we'll take a look at it, do the research. Okay, what is out there? What could apply? What could work for us, and stuff like that. So you're not having to constantly be, on your own trying to optimize your business.
Yeah, and I think that's key. What you're saying is, thank you, Janine, for joining us while homeschooling your children.
Me too, Janine.
You're doing it too, right, Angie?
God, yeah. Four
kids you have.
4 of them. Yeah.
4. Yeah, this is my child right now. I have 3 children who have launched, so I just have this one left.
That's great.
She doesn't need schooling, although maybe
No.
she does, right? She's on my lap. I think she does need some schooling. So truly, my heart goes out to every single mom who is homeschooling their children right now. During this whole entire event, I have been so grateful that I am empty nest when it comes to my children, because they are, the youngest is in college, right? So he's pretty independent also. So it's tough for you guys. It's really tough. And to run businesses on top of it, I've done it. Homeschooled my oldest for a couple of years. Only one though. You guys have 2, 3, 4. My heart goes out to you. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
So Danielle said, I like that. The business is your client. Yes. And I did like that as well. What I love about OBMs the most is they literally care about your business and look at it like their own. Now, I, as a coach, call myself your business partner, because I do the same thing by way of strategies and what you need to learn to sell yourself and price yourself, sell yourself confidently and price yourself right, and your whole entire business model. But you guys also do a level of strategizing, right? When it comes to, right? What are you focusing on January, February, March, and making sure the brain doesn't bounce to a million different things and they actually get it done.
That's right. Yeah. We try to minimize the shiny object syndrome and continue down a path. What I do for my clients is we meet quarterly. So in advance of that quarter, we'll meet, okay, what are our goals? What are we looking at? So that's sort of the brain dump, any new ideas that are coming up that we, decide whether we're going to park those or whether we're going to go ahead with those. Is this the right time? What's the cost? All of that stuff. So it's also, we come with a level of strategy, and that's what I love. That's really how my brain operates, is analytics, and strategy. So I can sit down and say, okay, what are you thinking of? Where are you looking to go? What do we need? What are you thinking of? And I'll bring in what we need to do, how we need to move forward. Is this something that we can do right now? Is this something that might be a little bit much given what else we've got on the plate right now and stuff like that? So yeah.
Yes, my OBMs on a regular basis go, that's a great idea, Nancy, but we can't do that now because we already have the first quarter laid out. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a really good idea. So when are we going to do it? Like, it's funny, right? It's always like a push and pull, but in a good way. It's kind of like having a business partner.
It is. And that's what I like to call, I call myself, I like to call myself the strategic business partner or strategic brainstorming partner, because, otherwise when you're solo, you don't have anybody to bounce these ideas off of and think them through entirely, or you do not understand how to think them through fully and what's exactly involved. So, yeah.
Right. So, okay, Christine has a question. How does this work if a designer has a designer software like a Studio Designer or Mydoma or Ivy? Does the software affect how you make an SOP?
No, not at all. In fact, you'd need your SOPs based on how you're using that software. So you're going to have a whole other list of SOPs for, I'm not sure which software you're using, but say if it's Studio Designer, how you're using it, what you're doing for it. So every component, every piece of that puzzle within that software, you're going to need an SOP for. Because, again, if you're onboarding your own team members, they need to know how to do it. If you're out sick or somebody has to step in or somebody in your team is has left or they're out, it's just to make sure that everybody knows what the other hand is doing without having to be in there all the time, but you can pick it up, right, if you need to. So yeah, it doesn't, the software doesn't affect how we do the SOPs, but definitely you need separate SOPs for everything you're doing within that software.
Yeah, I mean, again, Christine, I'm going to say it's your procedure manual, basically. Standard operating procedures are just, in the old school terminology, it was just the procedure manual, where someone could pick up the procedure manual, turn to a specific spot, and know exactly how to do something. So it's going to lay out whatever softwares you use. But when you do it online, it is cool because you can have links within the SOP, and it can link to a, Mydoma or Ivy or Studio Designer or whatever you use. If it's time to do a rendering, now you can go to your rendering software, or if you subcontract that out, it'll be like, who do you subcontract out? And then it goes to another SOP on how to negotiate that with, right? So it's basically every single thing you do gets documented, and it gets documented by talking it through with your online business manager.
Yeah.
And what I love too is the online business managers, if I say to them, I need to hire another person for social media, like we're not keeping up, I'm not happy with the way it's flowing, they just go, okay, we're going to find that person for you. They do the first round of interviews, and they just hand me 2 people that qualified for my criteria. So I meet with my OBMs and communicate with them daily, and then they implement. So again, solopreneurs, this is still a huge benefit for you, because these are the people that are keeping you accountable. And there's a long message here I have to catch up. Hold on, Hope, I'm coming to you. So it's someone who can get you really organized, get all your procedures documented, strategize with you, and manage your staff, or help you hire staff when you need, or hire a social media person within your criteria. This is the person that you are honest with. Like, I can't afford this, but this is what I'm looking to pay. And they go looking for that person.
Right. Yeah.
So hi, Melissa. Before I get to the tougher questions, I just wanted to say hi. So Danielle's asking, do you work primarily with interior design, decorating businesses, or do you also work with others?
I do work with others, but primarily I'm with the design industry. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think everybody sort of crosses over. Like, I coach primarily interior designers, but I coach a lot of other coaches and other service-based entrepreneurs as well, which people don't really know when you market directly to one
field. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think this whole message is going to show, so I'm going to have to read it. Okay, call me crazy or not. I'm hitting this wine glass in a major way, so don't judge. But I'd like to hire 1 to 2 part-time, and I'll keep reading because we can't see it, design assistants to assist me operationally. I'm not in a place of production yet for a regular part-time hours. I'm strongly considering 1099 project-based support. That's all of when I say my staff, they're all 1099 employees or 1099
contractors.
Thank you. Subcontractors or contractors. Can either of you speak of your experience with this type of support? I'm nervous from the service, but I must push the needle. Okay, so you want to speak first or second?
No, you go first. You go first. I know you've got.
So all my staff is 1099. So I probably shouldn't call them my staff. They're my contractors.
Your team.
They're my team. Thank you. That is what I call them. So why couldn't I come up with that? Because I'm having one too. Okay. So my entire team are 1099 and they have their own businesses. So they often work for other people, not just me. Yeah. So I'll say I need you 10 hours a week, or I need you up to 15 or 20 hours a week, and they can take those other hours and work for someone else. Me, again, I'm kind of old school, so I like to know what hours they're working so I know when I can communicate with them. But often they work whatever hours they can work, and they're working on projects for you that often can be worked on in like alternate hours, right, Angie? Am I saying it right? Because a lot of them are moms.
Yeah.
So Hope, I have to tell you, it's freaking fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, I meet once a week with my entire team on Zoom. So we make sure we're on the same page when it comes to the rollouts and the initiatives that I'm planning, or any webinars that I'm going to be on, or conferences I'm doing, or travel. I make sure everyone knows my schedule. But then they go off, and because we keep all of our projects or to-dos in Asana, they can go and do what they have to do. Yeah. And if they get stuck, they just message me, and we use Voxer, and we're starting to use Slack, which is another team management communication system. Yeah. There's so many of these things, Angie. How many systems are you trained on?
So Voxer, Slack, Asana, Trello, G Suite. I've done a bit of Infusionsoft, but that is such a beast. Or Keep now is what it's called. Dubsado, Keep.
Oh, Keep. Do you know any ClickFunnels? I use ClickFunnels.
Yep. There's so many of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the other thing about OBMs. You guys are so tech savvy that whatever system the client is using, you just learn it.
We know. Yeah.
So if someone's using Idoma or Ivy or Studio Designer, you're just, the way your brain works, this is just what your superpower is. So you just learn it.
Yeah.
What about QuickBooks?
And there's so many people who use different, software, whether it's the design software or anything else. So you're constantly having to be, on the ball and training yourself all the time on the job and otherwise on these programs. So, yeah.
How about Dropbox?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also, and I use Microsoft SharePoint or something.
Oh, yeah, you do? Okay, good. Wow.
We do now because I use Microsoft, so I might as well use, rather than Google Drive, I might as well use SharePoint and all of the sharing that my team can do from all over, because I have people all over the world also on my team. So what do you say to Hope, who she's considering the 1099 project-based support and she's nervous about it?
It's a change, so I can understand the nervousness, but there is so many benefits that come with this. First of all, you're not limited to who's local to you. So you might find brilliant people from anywhere in the world. You do have to figure out maybe time zones and what would work for you and your business, and say, roughly what time zone you want to keep it to. but it's great because you're not paying for any of their tools. You're not paying for, any benefits of any kind. You're not doing any of that. They're all on their own. So you're saving yourself money as well. And, getting people who are trained, who wouldn't be, applicable if you were only doing something local and hiring physical bodies, right? And being local to you.
What a difference that makes. When I tell you the talent that I have hired on my team, that if I was trying, obviously I'm not a designer, but even I find often you guys will no, I definitely need somebody physically in the office. Mm-hmm. My bookkeeper needs to be here. And I'm like, no, they don't. Right. You use QuickBooks Online, so they can actually be anywhere. No, I need to talk to them. I'm like, you do talk to them. And then you give them their own sign-on, and you can protect your password by using programs like LastPass, right? But here's what happens in the interior design world. This is what I see. Mm-hmm. You have people in my age group that are old school. I totally respect it and I get it, but you still need to add some technology to your life, to your business in order to keep up and run. Not let the business run your life, but actually let you run the business by using technology that basically gives you better balance in life.
Giving you a life because you're not always running the business.
Oh my God. I see old school business owners who I love, they're great, but they're running themselves ragged because they're not taking advantage of systems and programs that just cross boundaries and make life easier. And then you get this talent that may not live in your town. They may live in Australia or England or the Philippines or another state in the, or Canada or in the United States in another state. And they're so talented. They get so much done in such less time. And here's the other beautiful thing. I worked in a bank. You come in, you go get your coffee, you chat, you walk by a desk, you chat, you do this, you chat, and you chat 4 hours of the day away. Okay, maybe 2. But really, if you look at it, when you have a design assistant sitting right next to you, or a manager sitting next to you, or a bookkeeper, I want you to really start looking at how much of the day you're chatting. Yeah. And how much that's costing you. Yeah. When you have 1099 people and you have employees, you have a quick, efficient Zoom. How's your life? You touch base a little bit, but it tends not to be these long-winded.
No, because they're business owners too. So they've got stuff that they've got to get to. They've got other clients. They've got, they don't mess around. They're like, get in, get out. Let's, get to the point. And I mean, yes, definitely have, an amicable conversation and have good rapport and all that. But that's more of, that's the majority of the chit chat would be, how's it going, catching up or whatever. It's not, because you're trying to make the time go by because you're looking for 4 or 5 o'clock to roll around and clock out. So yeah, you're looking at a different level of responsibility because they're business owners as well. So they're in the same situation as you are.
Yes. Time is money.
Yeah.
Time is money. Okay. Alyssa, you use Trello, however, very limiting. Is it because we're not set up with their pay package? Not really. I didn't pay for Trello for a very, very, very long time, and I still use Trello to manage my clients. And no, it's probably just because you need to learn more about what you can do in Trello and how to do it. Would you agree, Angie?
Yeah, or maybe it just depends on what you're looking for. What are your requirements? What are your wants and needs? And does it meet those? Maybe a different one, a different project management tool would be better suited for you. So it just depends on, what it is you're using it for and what you need it for.
I literally use Asana for managing my clients' homework, what my session was like. I'm sorry, I use Trello for that. I have Asana I use for all the tasks within the organization. So, Melissa, I agree with Angie. It depends on what you're trying to use it for and whether it's the right software for what you're trying to use it for. What is the investment range? What investment range is an OBM hourly? Does it go by hours or does it go how do you?
So it depends. It depends on what you're looking for. So if you're ongoing OBM services, then it's still sort of a package of a certain amount, because normally we won't, we're coming into your business and we're doing a good deep dive and really getting into your business. So we need to be in there for, I would say, bare minimum 20 hours a month. So that you're probably looking for 20 hours, I'd say about $1,700 for the 20 hours.
Okay.
And that's like your team management, that's your, whatever it is that you need. And this is where it gets tricky, because it depends. Every business owner is different. Their needs are different. Some people need a system set up. Some people, and it might not take that long. It might just be, they need somebody to come in and get out. They just need their SOPs done, or their systems, or, something like that, versus the ongoing every month. So it sort of gives you a little bit of an idea as to, the starting off point for an ongoing service. I've also got strategy packages myself, where it's like a 90-day strategy session. So I normally talk to clients for, the 90 days, or not the 90 days, 90 minutes, about what your goals are for the following quarter, where you're at in your business, what your problems are, where you want to go, and then I'll create an action plan for the next 90 days for you. But then that's it. Here's the plan. I'm not doing the implementing at that. Right. So that's a whole other thing as well, which is, that's, I think I have $597 or something like that. So yeah, so it just depends. There's different, every business is unique. So I can sort of custom myself. I don't know how theirs work, but, customize things for individuals and businesses.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it depends on what you need them to do. Like, if you just want to go, you know what, I need someone to document all my procedures, and I'm going to meet with them every Friday, and we're going to meet for 2 hours, and then they're going to go off and do the work and start documenting. Hope is saying, good point to Heather. Hold on, I got to go back. Only when you need an assistant to go on Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you may need a design assistant as your right-hand person, but I will tell you, most of the time, I will tell a solo interior designer, your first hire should be a business manager, because what you end up telling me you hate doing is all the things that a business manager can at least start you out and hire you someone to do it for you, and either take themselves out of the loop or, right? So you can hire a business manager to say, I need someone to handle my social media. Could you find me someone? This is how much I'm willing to spend, but this is the expertise I want. And they go off and do it for you. You can say, I'm looking for a bookkeeper who can handle QuickBooks Online combined with Studio Designer, and they go and find the person for you. I need to document all my procedures. I'll meet with you every Friday. We'll go over one next procedure. They'll document it, and then you'll review it, and you keep slowly documenting your procedures.
Yeah.
Am I saying this right, Angie?
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing too is I find some designers use their design assistants for different things. So some of them definitely, absolutely, you need them for design projects. But a lot of the time I find you need a VA, not even necessarily a design assistant.
Virtual assistant, VA. Yeah. Okay.
So, and again, this is not something that you need to have in-house. And I wouldn't recommend that, especially if you're just starting out with hiring a team, right? You don't need somebody there 8 hours a day. You just need somebody who's going to take off of your plate all of the admin stuff, the invoicing, getting your emails set up, doing your email management, your calendar management, all of that stuff, right? Making sure you're, on the ball and on point with everything. And that takes off so much, and it's so helpful. So, we'd also help you determine, okay, who do you need? What do you need them for? And where are we going to go to get them? You know what I mean? So design assistant, yes, but I find a lot of people also utilize them as well as more of an executive assistant. And they're doing a lot of admin tasks.
Yes, I have to tell you, I'm really hyped up on OBM's, online business managers. If you don't have a physical business manager, your first hire is, I speak to hundreds and hundreds and, well, thousands of you guys at this point. And the thing you're worst at, honestly, creatives are worse are really usually not very good, not going to say everyone, not very good of keeping yourselves organized and having your procedures in a certain order and identifying when something is repetitive. And you need a business manager to rein you in, right? Right. Yeah. Literally, after I coach someone, the next person, I'm like, do you have a business manager now to keep going?
Yeah.
That's often what I like to see. So let me just read, Deborah. I would love both of your opinions on how you see the split in business for interior designers right now. How much time and focus on bringing in non-one-on-one services versus higher end design to one-on-one services. Non-one-on-one service versus the higher end. Okay, Deborah, I'm trying to understand your question, but I think right now, and I did a webinar for the Interior Design Society. Right now, the focus is supporting and increasing your followers. Supporting people and increasing your followers has to be the focus. You can also you can offer services virtually right now with what's going on, virtual design consultations. Yeah. Listen, I have multiple clients who are still actively doing a lot of business virtually, right? They're still meeting with prospective clients virtually, doing virtual walkthroughs, going into empty homes, it's getting pictures, talking to the clients, scheduling it on their calendars still, doing estimates. This is the time where you have to get creative. And that's another thing an online business manager can help you do. Like get them to teach you how to work virtually, because this is what they do, right? I do it also, but you don't want to hire a coach to teach you just how to work virtually. The coach is meant to get you past some of your mindset issues and teach you sales and marketing and a bunch of other stuff. It's like constant, right? On how to set up your procedures and your pricing models and your ladder of services, where an OBM can actually say, let me show you how to do this online with your clients right now. Yeah. So I'm not sure what I'm giving an opinion on, one-on-one versus, I'm not sure. Do you understand this question, Angie?
No, I was looking at that as well, and I was wondering.
I would love both of your opinions on how to see the split in business for interior designers right now. How much time focus on bringing in one-on-one services versus higher end design I mean, to me, I teach designer for a day, designer on call, and full service design. And right now, literally, I think you have to ignite all three in order to just keep your business bringing in money, right? Yeah. This is a very difficult time right now. So I hope I answered your question, and you might have another message further down as I get there. Melissa, what's a typical job description for you at a small design firm you are currently working for? Angie, that's for you, I'm sure.
Mine? Okay. So again, I mean, it depends. So I do different stuff for different clients. So hiring teams, bringing it to their attention where we're lacking in things, and if we need a team member, because they're not always necessarily sure about that. Seeing in where we can fill in the gaps, doing the SOPs, always looking at systems. I'm always looking, my huge thing is efficiency. My mind can't wrap around inefficiency. So if there's something that's not working, I automatically try to streamline it.
Yes.
What else? Strategy is a big thing. So especially right now, that's a huge component, is trying to get people focused on where they can go in their business. This is something that I love all the time. And right now, especially, I find it's a huge need for people, because there's pivots that need to be made. And a lot of people might not understand how to pivot and where you can go and what the possibilities are. So they need somebody to kind of guide them and provide them that kind of brain, so they know exactly where they can go, instead of, panicking and saying, okay, things are going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And this is the stuff that we can do right now in the meantime. And, we can still pick things up and run with things right now. So that's usually it. The main stuff is, it's all the back end operations. So I do the management of everything. So I just want to sort of put that back out there again. Like Nancy said at the beginning, we're the managers, we're not the doers. So we see what needs to be done. We determine what it is that needs to be done to bring out the vision, to follow through with the vision, bring up any things that we see to the business owners during our conversations, and either delegate to the staff that's already there or put in place staff that needs to be there if there isn't any. So those are the biggest, I think, components really.
And I think that was a good distinction you made, because I think I went down the weeds a little bit. An online business manager is the manager. They don't like send out an email to your email list. They will hire you a VA.
Yeah.
They will manage that VA for you. They will look at your SOPs, and yes, they'll put together the SOPs for you, but then they will delegate back to you, the steps that need to be taken, or to your bookkeeper, or to your another VA, a virtual assistant. So they're the ones who keep your business moving. They're managing your business while you're being the creative, the connector, the face of your business, the schmoozer, the client-facing
relationship. Yeah.
Right, where you stay in your superpower zone.
Right.
So Deborah, now you gave me some clarification. You're saying selling courses or webinars versus interior design with individual clients. Well, yeah, that's basically the information world. That's the world I'm in. Whether you're looking to become an interior design advisor or coach to residential homeowners,
yeah,
absolutely, you could create a course for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to mention this to everyone, because I think everyone's looking to like, oh my God, COVID-19 is going on, and now everyone has to switch to e-design or courses, and it's going to like turn around and make you money right away. And I have to tell you, no, it's not. It's not going to make you money right away. Virtual consults for your current business model, meaning you used to go to their house and spend 90 minutes to 2 hours, and now you're going to actually do it virtually, but your pricing model stays the same. You're not going to necessarily up a information product immediately and start making a ton of money. It's not going to necessarily replace your current income. Is it a time to start learning some of the technology you need and start putting your brainchild into practice? Yes. Right? Angie, am I right? Like, I think everyone thinks it's just going to happen. Oh, I can't do one-on-one clients anymore. I'm going to create a course and I'm going to sell it.
Yeah. Which,
but I don't have
that on its own, that's a whole other beast as well. Because then you've got to get the platforms for the courses, and you need to create the content for the courses, and you need to push that out. And then you've got to have your entire marketing plan and your launch strategy. So that's an entirely different thing. And for any type of launch, I mean, you need at least, I normally start about 8 weeks minimum in advance of when it's actually going to be rolled out.
Listen, I'm going to tell everyone the mistake that I made. And I've made a lot of them. I created a course because I'm like, everyone needs this course. I created a course when I first became a coach, and I put it out into the world, and absolutely nobody bought it. And it was like cheap as could be, inexpensive. It's not cheap. And it was a great course, and everyone still needs it, but crickets. And why was that? Because I didn't have a following yet.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling all my clients, I'm going to share with you right now. During this COVID-19, or any time really, your biggest goal is to grow your audience, grow your following, become a leader, become a name in your community. And that's what's good. Whether you're selling then one-on-one courses, anything, people are going to be like, I got to buy what that person's putting out. Because you've grown your audience to people who follow you. That's the most important thing. So right now, if you feel like you can't sell to people, God, my phone is going crazy right now. People are messaging me all over the place. I don't know what they're saying though. I just see it in the side. A little distracting. I'm going to turn it around. You want to grow your following right now. grow your personal Facebook page friends list.
Get visible, do lives, do IG stories.
Right.
Yeah.
Do Instagram stories, do Facebook lives.
Put the value out there, put the information out there for people so that they know, and they're building the trust with you so that, you know, they'll come back, whether it's now, whether it's 6 months from now, whether it's 3 weeks from now. You know, you're building that rapport and that trust with them now through your social media channels, right? So
yeah. All right. Well, listen, it is 5:30. I can't even believe it. And you've got two people here, Hope and Melissa, who say they need an OBM. And I actually agree with that. Well, I don't know Hope, but I know Melissa, and she has a design firm. And I think it would be a really good move for her to have someone who runs the operation while she can be the creative.
Yeah.
So tell people how to find you, Angie. Where do they find you?
So my website is www.virtuesavvy.com. And you can contact me through there. You can take a look at my website, and there's a form through there. That's probably the easiest. Or my email address is angie@virtuesavvy.com.
Spell Virtue Savvy.
VIRTUSAVVY.
SAVVY.com.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the chat right now. I think I'm putting it in the chat right now. If not, Angie, make sure you go in after and put all your information in there so that people can find you. So, so one final cheers. Thank you for being here, everyone.
Thank you, Nancy, and everybody else who's here. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Cling. I hope you guys found this helpful today. Next week, I actually have, we're going to be talking about VAs, virtual assistants, for your design firm, which are the people that Angie will help you hire if you need them. Yeah. So if you feel like you need a design assistant, definitely reach out to Angie. There's many others, but she works with interior designers, so she knows your operation and she knows how to make it more efficient, and that's really key. So thank you for being here. Everyone, please stay safe. Practice distancing, physical distancing. I'm not calling it social distancing because I still want you to socialize via Zoom and FaceTime and everyone else and over the phone, but physical distancing is really important. And I hope you all stay well, and I'll see you next week for Weekend Wind Down. Thanks, Angie.
Thanks, Nancy. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.